So, you got Doomfangs, and you want the best Doomfang Pauldron build? Well, I am your one-stop shop. Don't listen to other creators that make this video the day after new content is dropped. Listen to someone who's been running this build every year since 2019. You may ask, how high is this build's potential? The build's great for fireteam activities, GM, solo content, just not boss DPS. It might still be a good option for Golgoroth and Kingsfall, but that was more for speedrunning. With this build, you are the immovable object, downright immortal. All you need are ads. The more ad dense the content is, the stronger you are. Let's go over the exotic without reading it word for word. The exotic is Doomfang Pauldron Gauntlets. When you get a melee ability kill, you'll get 20% super progress per defeat. Every void defeat, whether melee ability, grenades, super, or weapons, have a chance to grant you a 25% void weapon buff. While you're in your Sentinel Shield Super, every shield throw hit refunds super energy, and every melee defeat recharges one shield throw. So, to pair with your exotic Doomfangs, you're going to want weapons that are going to refund your melee energy, or are void damage based. That's where our other exotic comes in, Monte Carlo. Monte Carlo is pretty much necessary for how this build is going to be set up. With Monte Carlo, when you deal damage either by shooting the gun or using its catalyst, it's going to reduce your melee cooldown and even have a chance to fully recharge your melee ability, which pairs with his exotic trait where weapon kills grant increased damage for melee kills and kills with a weapon. If you get a either melee kill or it has to be a melee ability kill, it will grant you full stacks of the Markov chain, which is 5 times. With the catalyst, when you have 5 stacks of Markov chain, you press and hold your reload button to switch from your melee attack to your bayonet. And this bayonet attack is pretty good for a free melee ability. Definitely good for red bars and orange bars enemies. And if you get a kill with this bayonet, it will reward you at least 50% of your melee energy back. And after refunding that, all you have to do is hold your reload button again to re-equip the bayonet. And then go for another bayonet kill and you have your melee back. Easy. Other good weapons to run with this: Void Special, good for bigger enemies, or Void Shotgun, those work well too. Void Heavy, or if you have special weapons or heavy weapons with the perk Pugilist on it, that will also refund melee energy upon defeats with the weapon. Just please don't run double primaries in PvE. Please don't. You can do it. You're better than that. Already with this build, when there's enough ads in front of you, you can easily get your super in under 30 seconds. Let's go over the subclass. Do I need to say what super we're running? Class ability doesn't really matter. I like the benefits of rally. Your jump is up to you. So you have 2 options for your melee ability. I always use shield throw because it just seems part of the whole Doomfang's Sentinel shield build anyways, to just be throwing shields all the time. And it gives you range, and you could be able to hit more enemies since it'll bounce from enemy to enemy and surfaces, so more potential to hit more ads. But Shield Bash is good too. It's going to do more damage, but you have to be sprinting, but it can suppress the target, which is nice too. Grenades up to you. I normally use Axiom Bolt just to be able to hit lots of enemies, but you could do something a little chunkier, maybe like Scatter Grenade, whatever you want to use. And aspects. Why you want to run these 2 aspects and why everyone else that says otherwise is wrong. The 2 aspects you want to run are offensive bulwark and controlled demolition, because the whole point of this build is to get your super as quick as you can, to be a menace in your super the entire time, and to try to stay in your super and never run out of your super. With offensive bulwark, when you have an overshield, like from your melee throw, your grenade recharges significantly faster and you have more melee damage for your next melee throw. And also melee final blows restore a portion of your overshield. Nice, but the main key is you gain an additional shield throw while in your Sentinel shield. And you definitely want this. The other aspect you want is controlled demolition. So we hit an enemy with any void ability or a volatile explosion, it's going to make them volatile. And further damage to these targets causes them to explode. When you are near one of these targets exploding, you gain health. and you want to be near enemies almost the entire time. And for the other aspects, Bastion's alright. It'll help you survive more when you're not in your super, but the whole point of the build is to be in your super as quick as you can, not surviving out your super. And you don't really need more survivability when you're in your super, because now they recently buffed Sentinel Shield, so that blocking with your shield is a good option too, and that's plenty of survivability there. Nothing can damage you through that shield when you're blocking, so why need an overshield? And Unbreakable, again, more survivability when you're not in your super, but I mean, look at my grenade for example, 16. I'm never really going to have my grenade. Devour's going to help, but still, you don't want this either. And Fragments, let's go over these. Echo of Explosion, void ability file blows, cause targets to explode, and plus 10 super. Yes, so any void ability when you're not in your super, when you are in the super, gonna cause them to explode. Echo of Starvation, very nice survivability, and we don't really care for class, not gonna really use your barricade much. Echo of Reprisal, final blows when surrounded grants you super energy, and you're gonna try to be surrounded the whole time, even in your super. And Echo of Persistence to increase the duration of your overshield and devour, and you don't need health in PvE. There are some other fragments you can choose, you know, if you want to buff your stats a little more, but this one's fine. But these are the best four for this build, and you'll see. Also, let's go over the armor set bonuses as well. Swordmaster, very good pairing with this, since you're going to be damaging targets with melee attacks all the time. And I believe this works for your super as well. And if the target's exhausted, you're going after a champion or a boss, they're going to deal 25% less damage to you. And the other really good armor set bonus is Feral Opponent. When your shields begin to regenerate, you're going to gain damage resistance. And it's going to happen all the time. It's going to make you way harder to kill. Go over stats a little bit. Try to have 200 super. If you can't have 200, that's okay. Try to get as high as you can. If you need to, you can always run a super font. One of these grants plus 20 to super. Two of these grant plus 40 to your super. And three of these only grant plus 50 to your super. Another stat you want is melee. That way it recharges as quick as it can. And it deals more damage with your melee throw. Another stat to go into, you would want to go into weapons. That way your weapons deal more damage. Ideal armor type is going to be a Paragon roll, which is going to focus first into super, then to melee. And if you had to choose a third, it'd be weapons. The mods I normally use are a Kinetic Siphon, pair of Monte Carlo, make more orbs, Hands-On to get even more super energy for melee kills, and Harmonic Siphon for our void weapon kills. Doomfangs, I run 3 heavy-handed mods. That way, every time you get a melee kill, it makes an orb. And what's also nice, when we have an overshield, when you do a normal melee kill, it's going to produce an orb as well. And these orbs are going to help us with the boot mods we run for Absolution, Orb of Restoration, and Invigoration. Going to reduce all of our ability cooldowns. Orb of Restoration, since we're pretty much just going to be using our melee, and Invigoration to reduce our melee cooldown even more for every orb we pick up. Chest mods normally run melee, damage resist, concussive dampener. You know, just run things for survivability. If you only have 1 energy left, harmonic resistance better than nothing. On class item, these aren't too important. I normally run distribution. That way if I need my barricade and don't have my melee, help me recharge it a little faster. You can always run Reaper, but since I don't have much into class, I'm not going to utilize this much. Or if you're running a font, time dilation to last longer. But since I'm not running a font, I can run 1-2 finisher to restore melee ability by consuming 3 stacks of armor charge, and proximity ward to have an overshield while I'm performing that finisher. And with this overshield, you cannot die within your finisher. It's how strong the overshield is. Artifact. In case you're watching this and this artifact isn't here either, you just want to run anything that's going to buff melees, your super, void, or kinetics. So here for this perk, it's going to give you an extra armor charge when you have your void super on. Elemental Siphon, rapid final blows with your kinetic or void weapons. We're going to give you an elemental pickup. When you're dealing damage with a kinetic weapon or rapid final blows, I'm going to drop you a unique ammo brick. Man, that takes forever. Armor Smith, more damage resistance, and it's going to increase your melee damage. But this damage resistance is less than Feral Potent, and it will override it when you activate it, so keep that in mind. While you have Void and Mental buff like Overshield or Devour, your melee hits are going to weaken targets, and your melee final blows is going to create a weakening burst. Actually, there's one change here I got to make sure I make for this build. And with this perk, Rapid Final Blows against weakened combatants grant you Devour, and when you get Devour, it gives you 100 points of health, which is almost half health, so it is nice, and it gives you grenade energy as well. And with this perk, defeating a weakened target spawns a tracking projectile that weakens other targets, and if you're doing it quick enough, these will keep respawning non-stop to keep damaging other enemies. And I'll make sure to show you some gameplay footage too. So you want to get in on there, get a melee kill. See, nice and easy. Halfway there, my super array. Nope. Need my melee ability. There we go. Look at that. Super. That easy. That easy. Once you are in super, just keep hitting stuff. Keep hitting ads. As long as there's ads, the super will never end. There will never be any content ever brought to this game where, oh, there are too many ads. The super isn't good enough anymore. No, that will never happen. Look how nice blocking a simple shield is now. You can get kills by blocking, which gives you super energy. Oh no, I lost my super. What am I gonna do? Boom. Quarter super for melee kill. Quarter my super. Boom. Halfway in super. 3/4 super. See how few ads it takes? Super. Boom. 4 melee ability kills. And you get your super. That's reasonable. Let me know if you have any comments, opinions, critiques. Is there any way to make this build better? Let me know. Or if you don't like this build, you hate it, or you hate me, let me know that too. Hope you liked the build. Have fun. Questions?